Stitchers, it's Jenny of Jenny Stitches, and I'm back again this week with a sewing bee roundup for week 7. I think it's 7. And this week was winter week. I'm very sorry that there wasn't a video last week. Things are just absolutely crazy for me at the moment, and things are really hotting up with moving into the shop. I'm nearly there now. I'm hoping to get the keys next week, so the market stall is closing tomorrow, which means I'm just running around like a crazy lady. And last week, unfortunately, I had an issue with my car on Thursday, which is usually the day that I film these videos, so I had to take it to the garage, and it wasn't the best of weeks, to be honest. So anyway, that's all sorted now. However, I will say I don't think there was a huge amount I would have been able to say about Reduce, Reuse, Recycle Week. So yeah, anyway, moving on. This week, last night's bee I really enjoyed. It seems a little bit odd talking about winter in the middle of May, but there you go. And the pattern challenge, we'll start there, was to make a lumberjack shirt, so a flannel lumberjack shirt. Which feels quite sort of pertinent for me at the moment because I'm currently making a shirt. You might have seen it on social media as part of my window displays, so I am in the shirt making zone right now, so I could really sympathise. And I think I'll just kick off by mentioning that 4 3/4 hours to make a shirt with that level of technical detailing is one heck of an ask, and then to get them to pattern match it to the extent that they were expecting as well is just, it's so unrealistic. It's just really unfair. So I think they had very high expectations from the contestants going into this challenge. But anyway, inspiration wise, so patterns, I think I will start with, this is the thread, I can't say it, thread theory. I always say my TH is like an F, I always have, so thread theory, this is the worst word for me. Fairfield button up, I will pop a picture in for you. This is a well-known pattern in the sewing community. It's a tried and tested man's shirt, very classic design. It has a collar and a stand, cuffs and like button plackets, so kind of all the features that they were doing on the sewing bee last night. So that is a really good solid option, and I love how these are packaged. They're just a very nice desirable little package. Okay, another excellent shirt pattern which I have personally tried and tested is Simplicity 8753. I've made this pattern up for my husband before, and it sat on display in the market for quite a long time. I'll try and put in a picture of his shirt. But again, this one has a proper collar and a collar stand, cuffs, plackets, and a yoke across the back. And when I made this one, you did use the burrito method, which the contestants had to do. So I was kind of like, I know how to do that. So yeah, all good. And finally, I just picked up as a slightly different option, Simplicity 8475, which is a more relaxed kind of style, but you can see that it's made up there in the plaid, in the checked fabric, and that actually has a hood option as well, and it's got a little boys option. So I think that's kind of a little bit of a different to the brief that they used on the bee, but I'd still like that as a more modern kind of casual variant on it. And it has some kind of an interesting yoke detail that comes over the front there as well. That's some patterns for you. Now fabrics wise, I don't have a huge amount of brushed warm wintry fabrics in at the moment because obviously it is the middle of May. If you'd asked me this maybe a couple of months ago, I probably had a few things left over, but I will show you. This is a brushed cotton. I'll hold that up for you to see there. It's very hard to show on a camera, but the reverse side of this is very, very fluffy. So that would work really, really well, and obviously you would then have to match your checks in that one. In real life you'd have lots of time to work out where you were going to place your pattern pieces before you cut out. It's probably worth noting that if you do have to match checks, you should always buy a little bit extra fabric, maybe ½ metre to a metre, just to make sure you've got a bit of wiggle room for putting your pattern pieces on. The smaller the design, the less you've got to worry about that. So if you go for a small check, you've got a bit more space to work with. But yeah, that's a nice brush cotton check. I really like that one. This one again is 100% cotton. This is a cotton shirting. Show you that one. This is much finer. This is probably more appropriate for summer. But it's a lovely smooth shirting weight, and I just wanted to show you it because it's a nice check design. The fabric that Raf used, actually, the orange and blue, I used to have in stock, and I made my husband a pair of, I'll pop a picture in, a pair of pyjama bottoms in those. But I had fun and games even on the pyjamas, matching the checks on there. It was a bit of a horizontal and vertical challenge, but it could also just be me. Not necessarily the best. And I thought I would just also throw in there, lovely Rebecca used a pink gingham, and I thought I would just show you, this is 1/4 inch cotton gingham. So gingham is very much a good option for men's shirts. Doesn't have to be bright pink, there's any number of colours. Black and white gingham seems to be very popular at the moment. But, I thought I'd just pop that one in to show you. So that's fabric and pattern suggestions for the shirt. Now then, the made to measure challenge was really exciting, and the contestants had to make a winter party dress, and the way that this was interpreted was really interesting to me, because I would have thought if someone said winter party dress, I would have thought we would have sent some sequins, but I don't think anybody had a sequin, which was quite a surprise. But yeah, lots of the traditional things that you would expect of party dresses, and some of the designs were lovely. So I had quite a bit of fun pulling this one together. You might notice that Mandy, my mannequin, is wearing a velvet dress that's in stretch velvet, so I just thought I would pop my winter party dress onto her just for keep her on theme, rather than her sitting there in a summer dress. So I've pulled some patterns together just inspired by what the contestants made. I'm going to start with a New Look 6524, and I thought this was very similar to, just one second, to Andrew's dress. I couldn't remember his name then and I had written it down. In terms of like a very sort of straightforward shift dress shape, but then with the contrast cuffs, and obviously he'd made his own detachable bows, which probably cost him his place, but never mind. So I thought that was a nice idea for if you wanted to do something similar to that. He'd used velvet, hadn't he? He'd used a stretch velvet. It was just a shame for him, really. I think the time constraints are just horrendous. Okay, the next one is New Look 6636. I picked this one out inspired by Serena's incredibly bold double-breasted blazer dress that she created. I thought this was quite similar, but without the asymmetric hem, and obviously not with those quite as powerful sleeves. But that's a nice wearable option. Thought you might like to see that one. Ferry did a plunge neck, puff sleeved stretch velvet dress. So I have picked out Simplicity 8835. I think that's a really nice sort of interpretation of that theme. This would work especially well with stretch velvets because it is sized for knits. Yep, so that was inspired by that one, and I also picked out Simplicity 8734 because I thought that was very similar to that kind of styling that she used there. But actually I really liked her dress. I thought it maybe came a little bit underrated, but who knows with the judging on these things. And finally, the last pattern that I picked out was New Look 6571, which is the exact pattern that Raf used for his gold brocade dress. And obviously it's got that bow in the centre, which won Garment of the Week. As soon as that came on the trailer, I was like, I know that pattern. So yeah, that's really nice. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Quality Street. I couldn't even tell you why. There you go. So fabrics wise, I think we will start with brocade, and I have some here. Let me just unclip the tag off there for you. So this is a black and gold brocade. You can see there, it's quite a firm, fairly stiff fabric, and on the reverse, it's practically reversible. You could choose which way out you wanted that to go. So you don't have a huge amount of fluidity to it. It would hold something like, obviously like Raf's dress with the bow detail, and it would hold it really stiff and really straight. So if you're putting like maybe a pleated skirt, you'd really get some volume on it with this, which is lovely. I'll just hold that up a bit closer for you to see the design. So that's brocade. That is one option. Very sort of classic, luxurious party wear. This is satin. Try not to dip it in that cup of tea. That's not clever. This is gold crepe back satin. A bit of a floppy tube there. But that, by contrast, is incredibly fluid. So would make lovely, lovely fluid garments. I think, this is just a slight side note, I think that Damien was a little bit robbed of Garment of the Week this week. Controversial opinion maybe, but I thought that that tweed dress that he made with the zip was amazing. That the fit was just absolutely bob on. And I thought I would pick out some lace. This is a pink lace. This is a stretch lace if I'm correct. Here we go. Yeah, that's actually got a really good stretch on it. But great as an overlay, kind of like maybe like Rebecca used. She used a lace overlay over a fairly plain bodice with a pleated skirt. That's nice. I think lace is very party. I still can't believe nobody used sequins. And finally, I brought some stretch velvet to show you. This is in a cobalt blue shade. Look at that movement, and you can see the stretch is huge. Ooh. This is 100% polyester stretch velvet. You can get 100% cotton, which I think Andrew sort of said was the creme de la creme of fabrics. But I have never had a problem with the polyester variant. I think it sews really nicely. It's very well behaved. I don't think you need to worry too much when you're working with velvet. You've just got to be careful when you're cutting out that you do it in the correct direction. You get what we call the nap going the right way. So when you stroke it, that there is going down. If I pulled it the other way, you can see the difference. It's a bit like running your hand over a brand new carpet. So you've got to make sure all your pieces are going in the same direction, so the nap is running down. I made my daughter a dress in this at Christmas, and it looked really sweet. And obviously I've made this as a crushed stretch velvet that I used to have in stock. So I'm quite a fan of velvet, if I'm honest. So I thought that might be helpful for you. Bit of fun this week. I'm not sure if I'll be back with another one next week. We'll have to see how we get on, because I should be getting the shop keys around Wednesday next week. So it could be a little bit manic, but I will try my best. And we're into the quarter-final next week as well, which is very, very exciting. So I hope you are well. Thank you for watching along. If you did enjoy this, please hit like and subscribe. And let me know in the comments what you think, if you've got any other suggestions to add for what you think you would have done. But I hope you enjoyed Winter Week, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you soon. Remember, you can catch up with me on social media, and that's where to get all the information about the opening of the new shop and all of the new things that are going to be coming at the same time, because I've also been busy shopping and buying in lots of gorgeous fabrics for you. So I'm very excited to share it all with you, and I will see you soon. You take care. Bye bye.